We're outside the Great Divide Basin here in the Red Desert. There's a buffer zone considered to be the Red Desert that includes areas outside of the Great Divide Basin. Same habitat, but here we have a petroglyph area known as White Mountain Petroglyphs. This is a sandstone petroglyph panel, and you can see up above the petroglyphs there's 3 nests of birds, and the one prominent one in front of us is an eagle's nest that's very old. It hasn't been used in a long time. Many years ago I remember seeing a ferruginous hawk nesting there after the eagles had built it up that high, and in recent years it hasn't been used at all, probably because it's become a site where people come to look at the petroglyphs. But when it was more remote, it would have been a perfect eagle nest site. It's protected about the right height off the ground where predators are not going to be a problem. And this is a common site in parts of the desert where you have vertical terrain, like in the honeycombs and along Steamboat Mountain. Eagles love to nest in places on vertical cliffs with a little ledge and a good view of the surrounding countryside. And I think the most interesting part of this panel is this area right here, where there's a lot of symbols on the rocks that indicate birthing of animals. Up here we can see a bison. It looks like a bison anyway, a large animal with a hump and horns and a head here, an eye, 4 legs, and inside is a miniature version of the bison that looks about the same shape and a head. So this has been interpreted as a bison with a baby bison inside, so maybe a birthing symbol. There are other places with elk, with little elk inside of them, and a lot of female symbols on the wall here. And you come over to this little point of rocks right here, and you can see what are obviously eroded hand imprints. So I could stick my hands right in here and they fit perfectly into several places, and this whole rock is surrounded by these gouged out imprints. It looks like people just took their hands and their fingers and just scraped them on the rocks. And the story that's come down to us is that women came here to give birth, and in the pain of childbirth they grabbed onto the rock and held on. Don't know if that's the real story or not, but that's the story we have. And most archaeologists believe these are mostly Shoshone petroglyphs, and possibly some other tribes here. Arapaho say that they have some of their writing on these rocks also. But it's kind of intriguing to think that this might be an area that was used for giving birth. This is an area very close to where the elk have places that are ideal for calving. That elk require a certain type of sagebrush and a lot of cover so they can't be seen by predators. So this is an area where they have that, just to the north of here. And of course the antelope spend the winter here and give birth before they leave, going out to their summer ranges. It's also a very mild climate right here. This place gets very little snow. This part of the Red Desert in particular gets almost no snow in the winter. And it's protected by these monolithic sandstone outcrops. So you can get out of the wind. You have shelter of juniper bushes in an otherwise flat, open, windy steppe.